Welcome to the La Liga Dynasty Podcast. Coming to you live from Miami Beach. I am your host. What is up, La Liga? Welcome to another episode of the pod. Happy week 7. We have a special one for you today. I interviewed one of our own. We're going to tease in a little soundbite in reference to their team name. And in this episode, we'll kind of talk a little bit about their background, how they got to join the league. We'll get into the league itself and some of the results and the projected rankings this week. And with further ado, producers, will you please roll the tape?
Come on, Team Ramrod.
Team Ramrod himself. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Just heading home from work.
Right on, dude. Well, it's good to hear your voice. First time listening to your voice for those listening in. Never met Kale in my life. First time we're actually chatting. Yeah, man. Good to have you on.
Yeah. Real talk. I thought you lived in California until I saw that video of you at that Miami game.
Wait, sorry. You kind of cut off there. What'd you say?
I said I thought you lived in California until I saw that video of you at the Miami game. I don't know why I thought that.
No, you're actually right. Because I moved to Miami just in May. So I was out in San Francisco for like going on 7 years, and then me and my fiance just recently decided to come back east. This is where my family is, so I grew up in Florida for quite a bit, and then started to explore.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I'm not crazy, man.
You're not crazy. So where are you calling from?
So I am about 2 hours south of Chicago, and I live about an hour and a half south of Chicago. I technically live in the south suburbs of Chicago, but it's like really south. So, moved up here, grew up in central Illinois, moved up here at 15, and moved around a couple times, but stayed in this area. So.
Right on. And you're a principal.
Yeah. I've got about 200 kids, kindergarten through third grade. So, every day is different for sure.
And you have kids yourself, right?
I do. I have a 1 and a 3-year-old. So, yeah, it doesn't stop when I leave work. But, yeah, it's good most days,
Yeah. Right on, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we've got a few dads now in the group. A couple of my close friends. One of them owns the Quack Quack team. He's got 2. And then Gin and Juice. He has 2, but he's the first one just came like a little over a year ago, so pretty much a new dad as well. So yeah, we've got new dads popping up. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy first year for sure. We had ours 20 months apart. I wouldn't recommend that, but I'm done now. I'm done. So 2 girls, which is fine with me. But I'm good.
Love it. I'm hoping for a girl. That's my choice. My fiance is hoping for the opposite. So we're fighting. We'll see how that reveal how goes. Well, right on, man. I figured we would kind of just chat, kind of get to learn about a little bit about you, get the intro. I'm hoping that eventually when everyone kind of comes on, we get to all know each other a little bit better. And then I'll kind of maybe dig into my usual recap stuff and get your input. But like let's kick it off. I mean, we've heard a little bit about you. How about like how did you get to join this league? I mean, like was it I think I posted something on like a Harris football podcast, and like, were you just a big listener, or do you recall?
So I actually know Prime Time, the co-managers there. That we've done a lot of school, Ryan, and which is weird to call him by his first name, but so he is a big Harris listener, and I tried, and no disrespect, very smart guy, but I just could not listen to his voice. I haven't listened in years. And like I said, very smart guy, but oh my gosh, I just could. It was like nails on a chalkboard. So I did join the. I saw that, and we kind of talked about it because it's so hard to find a league like this, and it's so specific, and
Yeah.
it's like, perfect because I'd never done it. Like I dug in, thought I knew a little bit, but you guys had done it, and we're kind of able to answer questions and stuff. Because my thing, like, you just told me, oh, look in the rules. Like, yeah, okay. It's like looking at the syllabus. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, just tell me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that was kind of, and it was I didn't want to. Wes and I did Ryan and I did we took on an orphan team in another league, and we split it. It's not the same. So the fact that this is a startup was perfect.
Okay. Do you still have? So you do still co-own with him, or did that die out or something?
Say we don't because he does pretty much everything. I just focus on our league mainly, but yeah, I mean we do. We're not.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
about to blow our.
Right on, man. Yeah, just commenting on the Harris football bit. Like, I agree. For a little while, I really I enjoy most of his like analysis and like when he breaks down film, but yeah, I'm just like, okay, I kind of like if I hadn't picked up his podcast in a couple of years, kind of the similar thing. It's just not entertaining. It's not that, great to listen to. Like, a voice on a podcast is pretty critical. And yeah, like nowadays, like if I just need a little extra content, I'll just kind of skip over to like one of the games I'm kind of interested on his thoughts on. But yeah, I hear you on that. The yeah, some of the production on the others are just, I don't know, there's at least a little bit of comedy, and I can just, yeah, enjoy the show a bit more.
Yeah, I got way into fantasy footballers, but I don't even listen to them as much as I used to. And really my main one now is the Green Light Pod with Chris Long, and it's really not even a fantasy one,
Hmm.
but that one's like my main one. But all those episodes are like 2 hours, so I only got a 30 minutes, so I
Yeah.
don't. But I like because I coached football for 9 years at the high school level, so he'll drop in, like this morning he's talking about twists between like a 1 and a 3 tech, and just hearing a little bit of that football talk, like not just
Mm-hmm.
fantasy
Right.
football side. I really enjoy that.
Well, and you're a Packers fan, right?
Yes, even though I grew up in
So
Central.
yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. But I guess for a quick little real football talk, like what do you think? What's going on, man? Like, is how do you see the rest of the season playing out for them?
We're fine. I'm not too worried about it. Everybody,
Uh-huh.
we'll see. I still have a hard time believing the New York teams are as good as we made them look, but you know,
Uh.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not as worried.
All
So.
right, so we're giving it the RELAX. Just relax, everyone.
Like there should be a little bit of concern, but I don't know. But Rogers is just a weird cat, man. He's just
Yeah, yeah.
he's gotten. It's like you let the good players kind of have their antics, but now it's like, okay, you're not playing good, and you're kind of weird. Like, okay, dude, like, can you get back to playing well so I can deal with your antics?
Yeah, I hear that, man. Um, let's see. Well, so we kind of chatted a little bit on text, and we were kind of talking about little different conversations that we could have and it sounded like you kind of had a fun nugget, or like, a moment in the past in this league that you'd want to share with the group.
Yeah, so it was the COVID season, so 2020, and I can't remember. I know I had two defenses, and I know one was the Bears, and they played Thursday, and then like Sunday morning, a huge COVID outbreak came on the other team, and whatever happened, they ended up making like that team that was their bye week, and then they swapped it out. So basically, I had no defense, and I texted you, and I was like, hey, can I put in the Bears defense? And you're like, no, you should have already been prepared. I'm like, what the? And then
Okay.
and then that I understood. That I understood actually, but I was like, can you run waivers again? And you're like, no, you should have been prepared. Now you're just kept saying you should have been prepared. I'm like, all right, motherfucker. So I still, I only had my one daughter at the time. She was like one, and I was playing you too. So I was like, oh, real convenient. You're not doing this, but all right. Like, so I think I put up like 91 points and still won. That was like the best, most satisfying fantasy win of my life.
Oh
And
my
then that
God.
was the year that I got second. I had no business getting second. Uh, Me and Biz Ritchie at one of our epic battles that we've had over the last couple of years. But yeah,
Was it
yeah.
Biz
And then
Ritchie?
I
I thought
think the
you
next
met.
week,
I thought it was Tebow's before Hose that won that year. Yeah,
like it was
but I
right
do
off
remember
last
Biz
year. I don't
Ritchie.
remember.
Yeah, I think it was you. If you and Biz Ritchie were definitely up top, and I think Tebow before Hose made like a final run at the end. That was kind of a shock, but oh my God, dude, that's hilarious. I mean, I would want that sweet revenge myself, but I vaguely remember this, and I think I even remember asking some of these guys like, look, like I think I've commissioned like a couple of leagues. Definitely, like I always kind of resort to others, like what's your input? And I also remember like with this COVID, like we put a lot of emphasis on, like, I think we even put an extra waiver wire thing, and we talked about all the different like possibilities that would happen. And then this came about, and I was like, well, I don't think there's any way that I could activate the Bears even if I wanted to. Like they're locked. And then I asked some others for their input. And it's like, I mean, this is the rules. Like I don't know, like you're gonna play this, and I don't remember at all having to play you, but I love this story. This is awesome, and I promise you there was no ill will that I was playing you, but oh my God, that's awesome.
No, full disclosure, I was gonna say I'd have done the same thing, but and I probably, so I do apologize, but I did get the
No,
dub. So
no apologies, man. I love it. I really like it's been fun also, just to getting to know these folks. And like I like the group that we got together, so it's awesome. And I'm really curious what others, I'm sure everyone has like some fun nugget like this, and it's the kind of things that you build in these leagues that is pretty awesome.
yeah,
um
that's the cool thing, is that like it never really ends, and
uh-huh.
I don't know. In leagues like this, I've had just as much fun tanking, for lack of a better word. Some people get really upset when you say that, but that's what it is. And I've had
Right.
just as much fun with that, making a run. So I've just been fortunate in our league, having Justin Jefferson helps. But
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I always seem to like take a look at your squad after like the auctions, and I'm like, damn, okay, like yeah, he's kind of done it again. Like it's just solid.
yeah,
But yeah.
I got lucky a couple times. I made some bonehead ones too. Don't get me wrong, but
um, I mean, eventually that Justin Jefferson contract's also it's gonna look pretty pricey, but so far it looks like you're gonna have no qualms paying him if he keeps doing this.
well, but speaking of bonehead moons, I mean, the startup, because all the rookies were in with it. I drafted. I think I paid Jalen Rager more than Justin Jefferson, but luckily I never activated him from my taxi, so I got to cut him for free.
Oh, dude, that's right. I do remember him being part of that, like a lot of rookie hype going to the Eagles. Yeah, yeah.
Drafted
Oh man.
higher. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's for sure. You gotta throw your darts. And this is actually the first year I've really paid up for one single player with McCaffrey. I usually don't do that, but
Hmm.
hopefully he goes to the Bills here soon.
A lot of rumors of that. Yeah, man. Um, what I don't know, it's just kind of like a very vague open question, but just what, looking at like the landscape of fantasy this year, like what have been some surprises to you? I don't know, what are some things that just, kind of pop out to you or, that just feels different about this year compared to others or I don't know, anything that comes to mind.
Well, I think the biggest thing this year is just the running, like the top tier running backs are just average, Like there's
Mhm.
not the Derrick Henry that's, leading, just blowing everybody away or McCaffrey or Taylor, all the usually at least half, of the first round running backs are doing something, but it's just, and I know like Taylor's been banged up, but yeah, it's been, it's really shifting to a passing league, and
Mhm.
as much as those running backs, it's having to get those wide receivers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I do think that that's been an ongoing trend. And yeah, I mean, if you're especially if you're looking at like redraft leagues, like I'm only in one, but it doesn't seem like very many of those first round picks have really panned out. Like, if so maybe some of the mid to later ones, obviously if you drafted wide receiver, great, you're probably golden. But if
Yeah,
you paid up for the Najee Harrises and, especially Jonathan Taylor, I mean, after the year that he had last year, you're thinking this guy's young, he's ready to go. Like, um, that's been a huge disappointment. But yeah, I mean, I was actually looking at some of the top rushers and I kind of had two columns, like, and I look at look at the top 10 and of like pure rushers, you've got like Nick Chubb, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Dalvin Cook, Ramondre Stevenson. So those are like at the top, based purely on their rushing. But if you look at the big list of top 10, if I mix in like total scrimmage yards, it's crazy how like more than half of this other group comes from receiving, and it's we know McCaffrey's on that list, Austin Eckler's on that list. Then you've got Fournette, that's just been making his living from catching balls. Brees Hall, the youngster, also getting a lot of receiving yards. Uh, and I actually can't even read my own notes. I have one more name that starts with an H, and I want to say it's Henry, but I don't remember. I find it hard to believe he's been catching that much. But yeah, it's just like it just seems like more and more like if you don't have a running back that's catching balls, it doesn't seem to be worth it. But Saquon and Jacobs have been having monster years, and they're just purely on the ground.
Well, in the first five, you said, that Saquon, Cook, that group, like that you literally listed like the five that I did not touch. Like I have no shares of Chubb. I think I might have them in one cheap dynasty league, but yeah, other than that, like I wanted nothing to do with Saquon, wanted nothing to do
Yeah.
with Jacob. But that's what it is. So,
I'm on the same boat with you, man. I think during those rounds I was just like, no, I'll go with the safe wide receiver, but and maybe that's why I'm not doing so great this year. But yeah, no, I've stayed away from those. I mean, I'm a big Saquon fan, but I'm like, no, I'm still not gonna pay this price. Um, but right on, dude. Um,
actually, in the draft, but that he got thrown out very first, and they went up to 300. I was like, oh man. But he's. I think he's a little sentimental piece because he basically has carried my team the last 2 years. So
is talking about Derrick Henry. Yeah.
yeah, I get
Yeah.
sentimental on guys. It's been an emotional week getting rid of Javante, but got to do it.
Yeah, man, gotta make the run. You know, and honestly, like I think without the extension on Javante, like I don't know if I'll really get much out of him next year. But I like you, I'm a big Javante fan. Like it's it, honestly, like I wish he was healthy, but like what a crazy shit show it's been in the Denver Broncos. Like, I mean, you you went through the trouble of splitting carries with Javante and Melvin Gordon, and now I'm watching these games and I'm like, okay, so what are you gonna do now? Like, it's you're gonna give this to Melvin Gordon, but no, you decide to just go bring in Latavius Murray, bring in some dude that came out of Minnesota, Mike Boone, and just create a bigger shit show. It's just like I, I don't get it. Like I just don't get what they're doing there in the Broncos. It's just like such a huge disappointment. I was looking forward to seeing that offense just fire on all cylinders, kind of be like almost what the Rams were last year, like bringing in Matthew Stafford. Here comes Russell Wilson. Uh, but yeah, just bummer.
I think that whole division, I mean, they're starting to turn it around a little bit, but as a whole, I thought that division was going to be like 100-point games every week, you know?
Right. Totally. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be must see TV. And man, that Monday night game's like, what is happening? Um, well, here, like switching gears back to the league. I'm just gonna kind of I'll kind of end it here with a little bit of like the projected rankings. Like I'm gonna do a little bit different than before. Like I've been kind of reading off of this algorithm and this AI that's just kind of like in a vacuum looking at the squads and kind of doing a ranking. And obviously I don't think it's looking at all at the matchups. I don't think it's looking at all at each team's record. So I decided to do a little bit different. And so I'm doing something what we'll just kind of call the projected ranking. So based on like where the team is today, based on the squad they have today, and the performance that they just had, the projected rankings right now look like prime time is going to sit at 1, and if I look at where they were with the same projected ranking of last week, it looks like prime time was also number 1 last week, so he's staying at the top, remains at the top. Projected ranking for number 2 is Team Ramrod. You moved up a spot. You were number 3 last week, so trending up, looking good there. Number 3, we got Handy Nasty, who you swapped spots with, so he dropped down a spot after this week, having his first loss. Good hands with Alsop at number 4, remains at number 4. At number 5, Gin and Juice remaining there. Nookie Monsters moves up to number 6. And this is where it gets, I would say, a little bit interesting, because at number 7, we have Tebow's Before Hose, who looked like he was starting to throw the towel, started to tank a little bit, and now it seems like he's decided to switch gears. So he moved up 2 spots this week with his win. He's at number 7. Number 8 is Ken Dog, even though he has the 1-5 record. And then with the 3-3 record, we've got Biz Ritchie at number 9. And then you pretty much have the unfortunate not trash of the league at the moment is T-Flex at 10, Quack Quack at 11, and myself rounding out the bottom, looking like the Sacco at number 12. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm only going to be selling further. I was really going to try and not get the Sacco, but it's looking harder and harder. I'm playing Gin and Juice this week. I don't think I'm going to get a win out of there. But I guess my question to you, I don't know how much you've looked at some of these squads, but you know, what squads are you liking? I mean, are you just, do you like the top, prime time, handy? Are there any dark horses?
Well, it's hard to remember because, you know, I've looked at all the squads, obviously, for trades and stuff, but it's hard to remember who's on who. I do know, well, and that's been my only loss is the Handy Nasty. That squad is nice because, I mean, when you have to start as many guys as we do, like, you got to throw some question
Yeah.
marks in there. That's a pretty solid lineup. Prime time, I don't know how the hell he keeps winning, and maybe I'm just biased because I know them, but it's like, and like,
I
you know, if I and they lose, then I'm going to pass them up. But Andy Nasty's got like 100 more points or something than I do. So, I don't know. But Ken Dog, my God, and we've all had that season where it's like, what else can I do? Like literally, it just
Dude,
it.
seriously. No, man, it's been week after week where like he would have beaten, 60, 70% of everyone else, but he just happens to play the one individual. And it's always been like, I'm pretty sure his margins of like these losses have been like 2 points or less. Like it's been absurd.
I mean, we're gonna somehow get all these stat corrections, and suddenly he's freaking like 4-2. Um,
Right.
no, but
Right.
hey, Ken Dog, feel for you, man. Those are the kind of seasons that make you want to question your life and all your decisions. But just keep on keeping on, man. I feel for you though.
Our hearts go out to you, Ken Dog. You can do it, baby. Let's see if you're so far you're projected to go 8. I think we can, I think you can make a run, bump up to 6. We believe in you, man.
And I'm
But
not looking at it right now, but isn't Sean? So we got a 6-0, 2-5-1s, and then isn't it 3-3? Isn't the fourth place 3-3?
yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's like a whole like 3 or 4 folks that are just rocking the 3-3. I think one of them is Biz Ritchie, who seems to be on a fire sale right now, even though he won last week and had the most points.
How
But
much plug? Did he pay you for the plug for selling his team?
oh, you're absolutely right. Let's look on over the chat. Here's a plug. Plug incoming. What do we got here? So promo advertising sponsored by Biz Ritchie. Are you sick of not scoring points? Are you tired of missing out on delicious W's every week and continuing to eat those sour tasting L's? Well, boy, howdy. Well, boy, howdy. Do I have a solution for you? Come on down to Biz Ritchie's Points Depot and get yourself some shiny new point scoring players. Lock in that final piece. Become a contender today. Come off Biz Ritchie's league high score of last week. Coming off of Biz Ritchie's league high score of last week, there's so much to choose from. We accept payments, draft picks, and underperforming younger players on decent deals. No credit required. We just got to make the salary cap math work. This brought to you by Biz Ritchie.
A young player named Trey Sermon that I will send his way. A very young player, just waiting on his opportunity. So I'll be sure to be in on that.
That guy is chomping at the bit, I'm sure.
1 point, or 2 or 5 or something like that. Never know.
Never know. Never freaking know. Well, man, I guess maybe to end it, how are you feeling about your squad? I mean, do you feel like you're one more move? You need one more move? Like after getting Pittman, how are you feeling?
Well, I definitely feel better after getting Pittman. And then Dan Campbell, the mammoth of a man he is, came out and said today that Jameson Williams will play this year. So that made me feel a little bit better because
That's intriguing.
It is, and if he can get going and do what we've seen him doing, even part of what we saw him do in college, that will definitely round out my team, and I won't have to start Corey Davis anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely still on the market. It's hard because I don't want to do it just because other people are buying. You know what I mean? Even though I've given up a decent chunk of my future already, but I like to keep those young guys and build around them if possible. But I don't know. We'll see for the right offer. When is the trade deadline?
Great question. And as your commissioner, I should know, but I feel like we tried making it relatively similar to real NFL. So I think it's coming up. Like maybe like I think
Yeah.
I just heard it was November 1st is the real NFL trade deadline. But yeah, don't quote me. I'm not sure. Still got a few
Don't,
weeks, I think.
don't fumble and look for it like you did for that Thursday night matchup last week.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go around and click around. I was honestly at the tip of my tongue, and I'm like, seriously, look, I've got players in this lineup. How do I not know who's playing tonight?
And better off not mentioning.
Oh man. Well, dude, pleasure chatting with you. I'm so glad I started doing this year. And I hope we keep it alive and we have these traditions. It looks like if I'm the Sacco, I'm gonna have to own it, and be maybe the first actual Sacco that pays up. But yeah, man, no, I really love what we got going here, and I hope to keep it going.
For sure. Hey, real quick, I wanted to talk about the goose egg thing while I got you. So
Yeah.
I feel like if you have an active player that gets a goose egg, I don't think there should be a punishment for that because that's already punishment in and of itself. But if you start a guy that's suspended by week, not playing, and you know it beforehand, then we got to think of something.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. So I mean, basically, it's like it's not a fault of your own, but it, by doing a managerial mistake, like a bye week or injury or yeah, something. I agree with that. I'm down.
Like Evan, like
right.
that one.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why we all pay up to be in competitive leagues. So
I agree. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm on board, and I even think that there's, kind of piggyback on that. And it looks like Zoom might kick us off in a minute, but going off of that, it's like similar to when it comes to tanking. Like I do think that there's something about having to put up a full lineup, like even, if you are tanking, like you should still put out a full lineup. And I know that that kind of like sort of contradicts what just happened when Jin and Ju sort of like pulled out the defense. To me, that's more of like, uh, that you're going for the win, and you made a move to just not lose points. Like to me, that's just a smart move. It's a strategic move rather than you purposely tanking and like starting two guys missing, four guys off your roster. That's also something like, not that I don't know what the punishment is or if there is one. I just think that should be something of, should be shameful.
no, I agree. I mean, and we run waivers, and you know what I mean. Like, you
Yeah,
got 10 guys that are playing, or and if you do decide to Monday night it, then that's up to you. But
yeah,
if that's what
yeah,
in the chat, I've been in leagues where we had the Monday night rule, and you had to play it, and if they get negative, then you lose. And,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I
so
mean that was an interesting take. I hadn't heard something like that. I kind of like it. I think it's just to at least have something to watch for in the matchup. So yeah, I think we should bring that up in the off season. I'm a fan. It's an interesting little nugget.
yeah, I mean, and the odds are fraction of a percent, but crazier things have happened.
Totally. Totally, man. Well, Kale,
All right,
pleasure having you, man. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and hopefully look forward to having you back.
for sure. Glad it worked out. Took a couple weeks, but better late than never, I guess, right?
Heck yeah, man. Never, yeah, absolutely, dude. All right, bud. You take care, and yeah, good luck this week.
All right, hey, go Pack, go.
Hell yeah, let's go Finns. Peace.
See ya.